Hi, my name is Teresa Jurgens. Welcome to episode 19 of the author reading the Innovation Process book. We are currently on chapter 12, sort of in the middle of it, talking about part 4, the WAGILE Product Development Process. In episode 18, we covered the beginning of chapter 12, and then in the subsequent episode, we will cover the end of the WAGILE product development process overview, covering gates 2 and onward. If you want to get a copy of the Innovation Process book, scan the QR code on the left. That will take you to Amazon. The book is available in both paperback and Kindle format. I recommend the paperback because there are so many figures and graphs that I think that will be more useful for you. So let's get started on chapter 12, picking up on the WAGILE philosophy. The WAGILE philosophy. WAGILE product development is not a perfect fit for every organization nor for every product or project. A hybrid project management process will help firms with new product development that are aiming to reduce bureaucracy of a traditional staged and gated system while simultaneously trying to launch products quickly to satisfy a well-known customer base. The WAGILE philosophy emphasizes discipline at the same time as highlighting the need for continuous market feedback. Move fast. A repeated criticism of traditional waterfall project management processes for new product development is that extensive upfront planning and sequencing of activities and schedules reduces the ability of an NPD team, new product development, to respond quickly to market needs. By adopting many of the practices and tools of Agile, the WAGILE philosophy and method helps teams to move faster. For instance, iterations are used when necessary in the process to refine and verify information. Yet, unlike Scrum, iterations are not a necessary part of the process. In this way, new product development teams move as quickly as possible through the process steps. Practice discipline. In Chapter 11, we learned that there are no strong examples of successful Agile implementation for new product development, particularly for tangible products. One of the pain points to implement Scrum is a change in organizational responsibilities and authority. Senior managers must trust that teams are acting in accordance with the firm's strategy, policies, and procedures. These senior managers need assurance that projects are moving forward and that they are adequately informed when hiccups in the process occur. In fact, oversight via gate reviews by senior management is one reason why many organizations retain waterfall systems, even if they believe they are operating under agile conditions. WAGILE product development embraces the discipline of stages and gates in order to manage new product development processes. Management knows what to expect and at what phase in the project. Decisions are made based upon available data, and investment is incremental, as in a staged and gated process, to manage risk. Understand risk. Investment risk is often the chief concern among senior executives when considering innovation. As shown in Figure 2-1, new product risk derives from requirements uncertainty and technical uncertainty. By adopting tools and techniques from design thinking, requirements uncertainty is reduced as customer needs are identified, defined, and tested. Technical uncertainty is managed in WAGILE by using the phased approach to design and development from a traditional waterfall process. New technologies are tested on a small scale at early stages in the new product development process, with investment increasing as uncertainty decreases in later stages. Other tools within WAGILE product development specifically address risk. For example, new product development project teams must present a qualitative risk management plan. An evolving business case addresses financial risks. Finally, as a new product development team continually interacts with customers, market risk is reduced. Engage customers. An advantage of agile processes over waterfall processes is the close interaction and communication with customers. In Scrum, Chapter 8, the product owner represents the voice of customer. Unfortunately, the product owner frequently presents an internal view of customer needs rather than that of the end user. This bias reduces effectiveness of product development and market acceptance. In WAGILE product development, design thinking is a primary method to engage customers throughout the product development process. Every WAGILE gate approval requires validation of customer need and an updated business case. Existing or potential customers provide insights for product ideation, concept testing, prototype evaluation, and market assessments. Provide autonomy. Self-organizing teams are cited as success for agile projects. Scrum teams are small and follow the model of generalist specialist roles to staff projects. In this way, agile teams can adapt quickly to changing requirements. WAGILE product development also keeps the core NPD team small to support moving fast, and leaders assign skilled general specialists to new product development projects. Fundamentally different than in Scrum projects, WAGILE development teams work autonomously. Within a set of boundaries and constraints, the new product development team is self-guiding and self-directing. Team members are guided by a project leader, and performance is validated through the gate reviews of the WAGILE product development process. WAGILE team members are experienced to know what to do and when to ask questions so that their autonomy is maintained throughout the project lifecycle. WAGILE teams are kept small enough to execute the work of the project within the decision-making framework. The WAGILE process. Adopting tools and practices from both waterfall and agile, WAGILE product development follows a staged and gated framework with any necessary iterations built into activities within the stages. Similar to the standard staged and gated process presented in Chapter 2, WAGILE product development involves 5 stages of work and 5 decision points, gates. Activities within each stage are consistent regardless of the project, shown as the bubbles within each stage of Figure 12-3 on the screen. Similarly, specific questions must be addressed for a project to pass a gate review, along with a plan of action for the next stage of work. WAGILE stages. More detail on the required activities within the phases of WAGILE is provided in Chapter 14. As in a traditional waterfall new product development process, WAGILE stages represent incremental work to manage investment risk. With each completed phase, the development team gains information and knowledge about the markets and technologies. The scale and scope of work expands as the process advances, while risk decreases, see also Figure 3-2. Within a predetermined set of boundaries, such as effort expended or cost, activities are cycled until the team is ready for a management decision, full gate review. Typically, these iterations occur more frequently during early stages of WAGILE to clarify discovery and definition of customer problems. Opportunity identification. The primary purpose of the first stage in WAGILE product development is to identify potential opportunities for the new product project. Key activities include creating ideas, trialing concepts with potential customers, and validating customer needs. This stage of work relies heavily on the tools and techniques of design thinking to interact emphatically and empathetically with target consumers. Business case. It is critical to develop a business case early in any new product development project to demonstrate value for both the customer and the business. We observed that a lack of understanding value delivery is one of the hindrances of agile processes, as in Chapter 11. New product projects should not advance unless a reasonable profit is estimated and the new product aligns with the firm's strategic goals. Because design and development work is incremental through a staged process for WAGILE, forecasts become more robust in later stages. However, early checkpoints must demonstrate economic feasibility for the new product. Management often uses the business case presented within the new product development process to compare and prioritize product development projects in the product portfolio. Technical development. While R&D and new product development teams have refined the new product features and concepts substantially from the earliest stages, the technical development phase in WAGILE focuses on ensuring long-term capabilities. Key activities within this stage include the design, build, test cycle for independent product features and for the whole product as a prototype. It is not uncommon for new product development teams to encounter challenges when technologies are scaled and operated outside of a lab environment. The technical development stage is designed to address these issues as well as to ensure that the product's form and function meet market needs. Scale up. Stage 4 in the traditional waterfall process, as in Figure 2-5, includes activities central to manufacturing planning. The scale-up stage of WAGILE serves a similar purpose in creating and testing prototypes. Production methods are verified along with logistics, distribution, and marketing. Sales planning begins in this phase and is rolled out during the final stage of WAGILE product development. Production. In the final stage of WAGILE product development process, the new product is manufactured and sold. Sales and marketing plans that were created in the previous phase are implemented, as well as quality management systems for manufacturing. Important activities in this stage include the post-launch review to ensure that final production matches earlier sales trials, and the pricing strategies are performing as expected. Teams are disbanded and individuals are assigned to other projects. Finally, the new product transfers to normal operations, including sales management. WAGILE gates. Following a key tenet of the WAGILE philosophy, the process institutes discipline and consistency through a set of required activities for each stage, regardless of the project or team. Gate reviews by a group of cross-functional managers ensure that all required activities are completed at the appropriate level of detail and that go-forward plans are appropriate for the new product development project. Discipline is maintained through these data-driven decisions. Exit gates. Gate reviews in WAGILE product development are exit gates. See Figure 12-4 on the screen. One of the reasons that waterfall processes become bureaucratic and slow is gate creep. See Chapter 6. As managers require more and more information to pass a gate, data that ought to be gathered in a future stage becomes necessary to offer comfort to risk-averse stakeholders at earlier points in the process. Gate creep is more prevalent with entry gates since they serve only to review existing information. Exit gates also consider the planning and success metrics for next stage activities. Using entry gate logic, decision makers pass a project to the next stage if the current stage work has been completed according to plan. Because gatekeepers are only looking in the rear view mirror, they require a very straight and wide road. That is, one with no room for error to continue moving forward. In reality, no development path can meet these criteria. Instead, effective gates, as those described for WAGILE product development, are exit gates. Exit gates include completion of the prior stage of work as well as a plan of action for the next stage. To approve appropriate resources, the next stage plan must include specific task descriptions, staffing needs, schedule expectations, and budget requests. With exit gates, management approval matches the risk level of the project at the next stage. In contrast to a waterfall process, WAGILE gate reviews are meant to serve as strategic conversations between management and the NPD teams. Instead of using a highly detailed numeric gate scorecard as in waterfall, see Figure 3-3 for example, gate decisions in WAGILE are based on a simple checklist. This eliminates much of the consternation among managers of how to numerically score a project. Completion of prior stage work items and presentation of an appropriate go-forward plan, including tasks and resource allocation, is determined with the WAGILE gate checklist. An example of a simple one-page gate checklist is shown in Figure 12-5 here. Gate 1, Idea Gate. While each new product development project will have specific criteria related to the market, technology, and product, WAGILE includes generic criteria for each gate approval. The Idea Gate is designed to validate the new product opportunity. New product teams must include high-level assumptions of the new product profitability, such as revenues are expected to outpace costs. Important elements to consider in passing the Idea Gate are full definitions of customer needs and competitive analysis. Customer needs. In many instances, the new product development team will work with existing customers to understand what does not work or is missing from products. In other situations, discovery in the design thinking cycle occurs through focus groups, lead user panels, or other open-ended forums, including conversations on social media. Different market segments will emerge from data analysis of customer needs. Figure 12-6, shown here, illustrates a summary of 3 different personas reflecting customer needs, pain points, and motivation for an e-commerce product. A customer profile normally collects data regarding demographics, occupation, and income, as well as behaviors, motivators, and drivers that influence their product needs. Competitive analysis. Entering a highly crowded market with another product challenges success rates for commercial launches. Addressing competition early in the product development process differentiates WAGILE from other new product development processes. In many situations, technology drives new product development when firms search for a market in which to sell a technical solution. Since WAGILE starts with identifying customer needs and opportunities, the degree of competition in the marketplace supports the early evaluation of the business case. Highly competitive markets are typically hard to penetrate with reasonable profitability, while new markets include additional expense to educate consumers on the new product. A popular tool to examine competitive analysis is the BCG matrix. The visual representation of market competition was originally created by the Boston Consulting Group, BCG, in the 1960s. Gatekeepers in WAGILE should evaluate whether the competitive landscape as illustrated by the BCG matrix for a new product is strategically aligned with corporate and innovation objectives. Additional questions for senior management include whether the investment in a new product with a given competitive profile is warranted and if they are ready to commit resources to an ongoing project. An example of a BCG matrix is shown in figure 12-7 here. The BCG matrix not only helps the new product development team gauge competition, but it can also assist in identifying strategic market arenas. For these reasons, a competitive analysis is evaluated at the idea gate in WAGILE. The 4 quadrants in the BCG matrix are as follows, starting at the upper left. Stars. Products that have high market share and generate significant revenue are considered stars. First-to-market products are often termed stars, but convert to cash cows as competitors enter the market. New and existing products that fall into the stars category are good strategic investments, yet often require continued cash influx due to high growth rates. Cash cows. Products fitting into the cash cow category are ones in which the firm has a high market share or brand recognition. Meanwhile, overall growth in the market is slowing. Products generate good profit since maintenance costs are low while revenues are high. Products designated as cash cows can transition into dogs with even small marketplace changes in technology or competitors. Dogs. Products at the end of their life cycle are called dogs. They have a low market share and a low growth rate. Revenues and expenses are nearly equal, yet the organization has some burden to maintain these products in the portfolio and to support sales and marketing. Senior managers are responsible for decisions to retire these products, divest the product line, or rejuvenate the product through new product development investment for a next generation product. Question marks. Existing or new products that are new to a market and involve new technologies are often considered question marks. These products have a potentially high growth rate, but have a small market share requiring large investments of financial and human resources. When the product is a new to the world offering, it has potential to transition to a star. Investment decisions are made based on the potential for growth and aggressiveness of the competition in the market. Applying the BCG matrix involves evaluating direct and indirect competition. Direct competition is normally easily identified by the new product development team. These are products with very similar features and functions. In retail, products in direct competition are placed side by side on store shelves, for example. Consumers may express preference for one brand over another, yet they understand that the products are mostly interchangeable. As in Figure 12-7, direct competition is marked on the BCG matrix with numbers. On the other hand, indirect competition is often challenging to identify since consumers will substitute products from different categories to serve the same purpose as a primary market. These products have similar features or functions but are offered to customers in a different way. For instance, a whole grain cereal fulfills a consumer's need for breakfast. A store may position the whole grain cereal in a health food section rather than next to the sugary kids cereals. In general, cereal is an indirect competitor for other breakfast items such as bacon and eggs or toast. Products or firms that are indirect competitors are marked on the BCG matrix with letters, as in Figure 12-7. Finally, the new product development team will assess the market share and growth rate for the idea under consideration. This is marked on the BCG matrix with a symbol. In Figure 12-7, the new product under consideration has been labeled as a cash cow with limited growth opportunity and a significant market share. Gatekeepers will evaluate whether the product opportunity has enough merit, in spite of the competitive landscape, to continue to the next stage. In WAGILE, an additional iteration of the first stage of work may be designated to further identify opportunities that would perhaps offer a new product in the star or question mark quadrant of the BCG matrix. Next time we'll cover the remainder of Chapter 12, looking at gates 2 through 5 in the WAGILE process. Thanks for sticking around and listening to this rather long episode covering the WAGILE philosophy and an overview of the stages and gates. Next time, we will cover the remainder of Chapter 12, but if you want to get a head start, please register for the course starting August 12th, 2025. We will meet once a week for 6 weeks covering waterfall processes, agile processes, 2 weeks on WAGILE, and 2 weeks on lean new product development. Again, you can get your copy of the innovation process book with the square QR code, register for the course with the round circular QR code, and I'll see you next time. Bye.